show again. All right. In 1990, Dr. Kevorkian helped assist in the suicides of 130 people. He had dedicated his life to end the suffering and pain of those people on their own terms and in their own time. His career was fraught with battles with the law and scrutiny within the media, and he instantly became the face of assisted suicide in the United States. Having been a person in a similar situation, I took the time to research the history and origins of assisted suicide, as well as the pros and cons for and against it, as well as what the future might hold for the assisted suicide movement. Today we will research those origins, see the prominent faces of those in the Right to Die movement, as well as see what the future has in store. According to the Compassion and Choices website, assisted suicide has likely been going on since the beginning of time, although it didn't become mainstream until the 19th century. Euthanasia is from the Greek word meaning good death, which represented the joyful time that people would prepare for the end of their life with their family and their loved ones. And then over time, it became a word used to medically induce or withhold treatment to hasten death. In 1938, the Euthanasia Society of America was formed to promote legislation to make these acts legal within the United States. And assisted suicide slowed in the 1930s and 40s due to the Holocaust and mass euthanasia from the Nazi Germans. In the biography Jack Kevorkian by David Champion, we learn of Janet Atkins, who in 1990 relieved her Alzheimer's by assisted suicide with the help of Dr. Jack Kevorkian. He had an intense interest in death and dying and created machines where he would insert IVs into patients, and then they would hit a switch that would distribute the drugs into their body, thus ending their life. He was prosecuted many times for these acts, and his license was revoked. He is heralded as a patient advocate for patients' rights amongst many, and a mass murderer by others. He was incarcerated in 2007 for use of a controlled substance and second-degree murder, and then was released due to good behavior and later died in June of 2011. In October 2014 People magazine, we learn of Brittany Maynard, a 29-year-old teacher from California who was the epitome of life and health and zest. She loved travel, she loved her family, she loved living her life. She had gone to the doctor to get relief for some severe headaches that she had been having and was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. She had done a great deal of research into her condition to try and alleviate some of her symptoms, but unfortunately there were just no options available. Modern treatment could buy her some time, but it would not extend the quality of her life, and it came at a great expense with nausea and many other health concerns. During her research, she came across the Right to Die movement and decided that it was in her best interest to end her life on her terms. So her and her family moved to Oregon in 2014, and which was the only state where it was legal. And with her family and friends by her side, she ended her life on her own terms. We find out from the article Why Assisted Suicide Must Not Be Legalized from DREDF.org that assisted suicide is supported by 73% of the American people, but it is opposed by three major groups: the Catholic Church, physicians, and disability groups. The Catholic Church obviously feels as though it's impeding upon God's plan, playing God. They see it as a sin and a form of suicide which is not acceptable. The physicians, most physicians take a Hippocratic oath saying that they will do no harm, and so many physicians see it as inappropriate to handle that type of behavior. And then disability groups most commonly are opposed to those type of acts. They feel as though people will do it out of fear of cost for their medical treatment. that it's going to be done that there's going to be undiagnosed medical conditions or mental health issues that are not being treated. And the most important reason is that they see the Death with Dignity movement says that people want to die with their own dignity intact, and they don't see a life with assistance as being dignified, whereas disability groups believe that death is not a better option than death, or that death is not a better option than reliance on assistance. So the Death with Dignity Act was enacted in 1994 in Oregon and was later followed by 5 other states: Washington, Montana, Vermont, California, and Colorado. To be eligible, you have to be an adult with less than 6 months to live with a terminal illness that is diagnosed by 2 doctors as well as witnesses. And since these laws came into act in the United States, there haven't been a single case of coercion or abuse against that right. In conclusion, we've talked about the beginning movement of the Right to Die era, as well as the many prominent faces of this movement, and what the future might hold. We've taken a look at Dr. Kevorkian and Brittany Maynard, who were influential faces within the Right to Die movement, and hopefully this has inspired some conversation between loved ones. It's a very important issue that deserves a lot of consideration, not only for the welfare of ourselves, but those that we love as well. Thank you. Thank you, LaDonna.